Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 12th episode of Business Chunautiyaan. I don't know if you're aware, Business Chunautiyaan is actually an idea which was born out of the pandemic. Exactly a year ago, when we actually went into a lockdown, the entrepreneurs, the MSMEs across our industry got together to connect with each other. And one of the things that we got together and did was put up a show together called as the Business Chunautiyaan. Over the last 12 episodes, including this one, we've had some of the best and the topmost influential and business leaders who have actually come and addressed us and helped us guide through the difficult times. And never before has the MSMEs ever come together to help each other and come out of the pandemic so successfully. To help me put this event together, I have my colleague, Kalyan. Hi, Kalyan. Welcome to the show, Kalyan.
Hi.
Kalyan, so this today's show is actually Kalyan's show. He's actually helped coordinate everything. But Kalyan, you've been here a year ago, and you know exactly what difficulties we faced when the last April when we were discussing among ourselves. So, How do you see in the last 1 year we've changed as an association?
We just had one committee a year ago, and now we have got 13 formal committees across India, and we had just 11 committee members. And today we have more than 100 committee members across India. That means, apart from the 600 members, the committee members alone is somewhere around 100 committee members now. We had just 250 companies as members, and today we have close to 575 to 600 companies as RATA members. And till the year before, we just had managed to do 4 events in a year, and we have done almost 100 events in 12 months. I'm just giving you some gist of numbers, but it looks really enormous. Last 1 year, the kind of road we have gone through really is tremendous. We have pulled up so many people, and they have all come together. I would say sometimes pandemic has helped us to be together and stand in front of a big wall which created due to the pandemic, and we are just now removing the wall totally. That's what I felt personally. And we had reached out and made representation to one and other state governments on GST issues. Today we have reached at least 5 to 6 state governments, and now actively engaged in professional firm to make a representation to the center. Means we also had in one of the meeting we also had Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari, MSME Minister, who addressed our forum. It was a great thing. Like he said, he will definitely look into our issues and other things also. So we never reached earlier central government. This is one milestone, what I would say. Pre-COVID, we had working relationship with 2 other industry associations. Today we had engagement with at least 6 different industry associations, including Rama. Even Rama has they have come forward to help us in putting us into component manufacturing for all the manufacturers in our group. That's a very great thing which has happened. We had also commercial research paper now. We also have a component with Indian Merchant Chambers. It's a easy book for safety guidelines with ISHRE. Our business portal is rolling out on a testing phase, which will be the largest ever online cooperative movement to help MSMEs to grow. I think I just listed out a few points. I would say, I can keep going on for the next 1 hour, but I will leave the guest to, speak more about the industry. And we are really looking forward today I always feel one thing is that it is not that how many members and how many people are this in this, and number of people employed through us. If you really multiply that, it may be in few thousands, more than few thousands. Something, it may reach 1 lakh also if you really calculate. I think that is a number which really looks awesome, I'm telling you, and that lakhs will become million also in very soon. That's what I feel. Over to you, Ajay.
Absolutely. And the adversity has brought the best out of us. And as like what you said, the MSMEs in the HVACnR industry are collectively the biggest employers in the trade. And
Yes.
Right. So great. So today we have a very important speaker. We are very grateful that he took this valuable time out to actually reach out to us. He doesn't need an introduction from our trade. We all know him very well. And last year, we were in the mood as to how do we get out of this, and we lost a season. Today, we have an industry leader who is actually telling us what to expect over the next few years and help us guide through this industry. So, my friends, we are happy to introduce to you the Managing Director of Blue Star India, Mr. Thiagarajan. Thank you so much, Mr. Thiagarajan, for taking time out for joining us today. So, to most of our members who know him very well, but for we have a lot of members, a lot of viewers today joining us from, some of them I can see are also from outside the country. So let me introduce Mr. Thiagarajan. He has a fabulous profile. He has a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics engineering from Madurai University. He has also completed the senior executive program of London Business School. He has over 4 decades of experience in general management, sales and marketing, manufacturing, corporate strategy, public relations, and investor relations, having worked for reputed companies such as Larsen & Toubro, BPL, and Voltas Limited prior to joining Blue Star Limited in 1998. In Blue Star Limited, a public limited company listed in Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, Mr. Thiagarajan has handled various assignments in the air conditioning and refrigeration products business, service business, corporate communications, and marketing and corporate planning before he was elevated to the board in 2013. He was appointed as Joint Managing Director in 2016 and elevated as Managing Director with effect from April 1st, 2019. He currently oversees electromechanical projects and air conditioning solutions business, cooling and purification appliances business, manufacturing, supply chain, R&D, corporate marketing services, corporate communications, and public relations. Apart from being a whole-time director of the board of Blue Star Limited, he holds the following positions as a member of the Audit Committee, member of the Risk Management Committee, chairman of the CSR Committee, and the member of the Investor Grievance cum Stakeholders Relationship Committee. Mr. Thiagarajan's specific areas of interest are related diversification, Industry 4.0, Marketing 4.0, Environment and Sustainabilities, and Total Cost Management. Mr. Thiagarajan plays a very active role in various industry fora and is the past president of RAMA, the Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Manufacturers Association. He is also the past co-chairman of CII National Agriculture Council, past chairman of CII National Cold Chain Task Force, and Education and Awareness Committee of Indian Green Building Council. He is nominated member of the CII National Council and a member of the CII National Manufacturing Council. He will take charge as the chairman of the CII Western Regional Council with effect from March 2021. So to all our viewers who are from the industry, Mr. Thiagarajan is a very familiar face. We all know him. And thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, Mr. Panika. It's a privilege to join you in this particular session.
Great. So before we start, sir, we've had a lot of requests from across the industry saying that we just want to hear the big man speak. So the next 20 minutes is all yours on all your thoughts, because you see, sir, we have last 1 year, the entire trade has lost a season. And in this industry, when you lose a season, for a small business, it is catastrophic. Most of them find it very difficult to even rebound. So now this is the season that we really want to catch up. We're just going to start. The season is just broken. We want to hear from you what to look forward to. And once we hear from you, then we have a lot of questions which our members have written us, which Kalyan and I will take you through. So over to you, sir. Tell us what you think.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Panika. Good afternoon, or it is already good evening. Good evening to all the viewers. Thank you, Mr. Panika, for having me. Thank you, Kalyan, for inviting me. I wish to compliment the entire association, its members, for having endured the pain over the past 12 months. I must make a mention that Kalyan was instrumental in teaching me air conditioning and refrigeration, the fundamentals. It was way back in 1993. In Voltas, I held various positions. Of course, I was in and out of various businesses. but real air conditioning part of it, he, as a very young boy, um, he put up with me that I used to work in Kochi as the area manager of the entire branch. I used to take specific or significant interest in the refrigerators business as well as the air conditioners business. And I think I had harassed him that, some other forums I mentioned that I had the habit of, I lived as a bachelor there, and I used to watch movies. And I think almost every day or almost every alternate day. And people used to be afraid of me. Kalyan was one who I have dragged to movies very often and to many restaurants and many exploratory trips across Kerala. So I still remember the quite a bit of air conditioning fundamentals that was imparted by Kalyan to me. The one thing I wanted to mention is that I am not a great man, so I don't think the I need that kind of an introduction. I grew from the ranks. I know what it takes to run this particular business, specifically air conditioning and refrigeration, very well. I can only share my experience. So some part is going to be in general in running the business, some with respect to the Indian economy and what to look for. Some to look at this particular industry, the as an important stakeholder, what probably you should be open to and avail of as the opportunities open up. The the very first thing is the growth of India as I see it. That we all know most probably India's GDP growth for FY 22, that is 2021-22, starting from April 2021 to 22, is estimated at 12%. So it is definitely going to grow. The GDP as a measure is compared with the previous year. So therefore, you are going to be coming out of. And this morning in the CI National Council, there was a general consensus that we can look forward to a 12% GDP growth, and India will be the largest growing economy in the world. So you have to also worry about FY23. So though I am not the proponent of fast forwarding anything, especially in this particular situation, but it is better to look at that, whether India has the potential to maintain the growth for a few years, because as a businessman, you should be looking for that also. The general assessment is yes, it may not again grow at 12%, but we have the potential to grow at 8 to 9% for at least 3 to 4 years of time again after this FY22. So therefore, this is the right place to be in the world. That this is going to open up never ever seen kind of growth opportunities. But then, whether you can take things for granted in this world, very much the doubt. That the pandemic taught us the lesson that it was not before the pandemic there were certainties, but pandemic was a black swan event which changed the course of the entire world. Now, we will indeed be having the doubt whether this is the last pandemic. No. Will it be coming again? It will. Will it keep coming frequently? That we need not worry, I think, because having the history teaches us this kind of events takes place once in a while. Then the people learn to cope with that, and you will witness right now also the resurgence of this in a much more aggressive manner than even last year. We are not that much worried. I'm not saying I'm not talking about the people who are careless, but the policymakers onwards or informed people like us, we are not that much worried because we believe that there is a vaccine that is available. This pandemic will be handled, contained, and we know the ways to contain it, irrespective of whatever mutations it takes place. So it is going to be a growth year and phenomenal growth in that. Next is there will be pandemic. It has to be fought. We have to fight decisively and with more conviction. In that context, what is the role that we have to play is again helping the society at large and our own ecosystem, where we will not pull down our guards, that the COVID appropriate behavior, ensuring that adequate tests are done, adequate isolations are done, avoid unnecessary things and travel or vacation and parties, etc., till at least August, September. If we do that, we can take care of the interest of the economic growth and our own business growth and still able to grow. If by chance it is going out of control due to some reason, we will again be back with some kind of, because the sentiment can change overnight. So therefore, what role we can play to ensure that our employees, technicians, or installation contractors, the places where we live, how we can encourage the COVID appropriate behavior, including the protection that we have by the way of vaccination, how we can ensure people should get vaccinated at the earliest so that the chain is broken. So this is one request that I place on the table. Now, the significant part of economic growth is also the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission. So one can be cynical. There are many slogans that had been announced by the government. It partially happens, partially forgotten. But this particular one, you do not neglect it like that at all. There is a opportunity that is opening up for India as a country in the global stage. China plus one is a reality. People do not want to create their supply chain based on China as a location alone. Globally, they will look for one another location, whether it is multinationals or Indian companies will not depend on China. They would like to entirely, some people will have the option to move out of China, but they will definitely have one another destination. I think India is well placed for availing that benefit. So this economic growth is going to happen through manufacturing. And if manufacturing happens, of course, trading, marketing, and other things that follow. So therefore, we are to gear ourselves for an environment where very fast executions are going to take place. Like, how will I acquire a land quickly? How will I set up a manufacturing unit? That is how things will happen. The people who were taking more time to arrive at that decision also will have to fast forward that. Like take Blue Star, for example. We bought a land in Sri City almost 5 years ago. We said that we will start in 2019, 2020. We said there is some reason or other where discouraging us, that there is some interruption due to demonetization, something is happening due to GST, something is happening due to summer washed out. But then right now we are in a mood how we can get this factory on and operational within 10 months. So suddenly everyone is in the same rush. So if you take Sri City as a location, you do have now Havel setting up a factory, Amber setting up a factory, Daikin setting up a factory, Blue Star setting up a factory, and you have in Chennai or Tamil Nadu, Volta setting up a factory, as per the news available or the commitments that are made. Other than that, in other geographies, there are air conditioning related manufacturing units are coming up. But if you take automobile, it is the same. Electric mobility is driving that growth. So many people are investing in that. Electronics, mobile phones. So in our projects business, you will see numerous inquiries for manufacturing sector related MEP or HVAC flowing in. So you can take for granted that FY22 is a great year for growth. It will continue for 3-4 years. It will be a manufacturing-led growth. COVID is still on. We have to fight it out. But I have confidence that if we put our mind, we can escape from any lockdown or economic setback. Now, time also flies. So the life will be full of flashbacks. That's what I keep saying. And suddenly we will realize this. Even the 1 year of pain, it has passed off very quickly. The pain is real, but the time has flown. That I realized that this lockdown happened only some 3-4 months ago or so. So in that context, in none of the lectures I failed to point out this particular fact that if we all live 100 years, which itself is very great, it is 36,500 days. So it is worthwhile to convert this into number of days to see how we have to run our life or run our businesses. So I realized as if I started my career, I began my career in 1979. It looks like I started some 10, 15 years ago, but it has flown. It is more than 40 years now. So this aspect I would like you to keep in mind, that if your company is 20-year-old and it is the company has got infinite time of life, that it can run for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, but then convert into days. And your own life, if you are to go by that formula, that is, each day is precious, and how we can take chances to avail the opportunities as it opens up. And I will tell you examples where we may end up wasting time without realizing this. Now, I believe the success comes from learning continuously. That way, even the pandemic is a learning experience as far as I'm concerned. The second one is emulating and cutting short the learning curve. Like, for example, we have to visualize the India's manufacturing growth will be more or less similar to that of China's growth. So what China struggled and set it right, if we can learn faster, we will be able to emulate that. Say, for example, even in manufacturing engineering or manufacturing processes, or guiding the government to make the policies, how we can. Say, for example, China, how did they do? Dispassionately, if you look at it, the very first one is China decided to copy. So you may call it by a sophisticated language, that is this reverse engineering. A Japanese or a Korean or a Taiwanese one, they could quickly emulate and come out with this is the one. But they made up their mind, their product will be cheaper than others. That is how they built their competitiveness. The same calculator or the same electronic device or the same television, anything, they figured out that I can quickly reverse engineer and go ahead and manufacture it in a cost-effective manner. The second one is they decided to grow the domestic market of theirs. So if the domestic market is there, you can build the scale, which I'll address it a little while later. Then you can compete in the world. And then they went ahead and built. In some places it could be unethically, in the sense that you undercut, build, secure, the local industry doesn't develop. Eventually you enjoy the dominant position that they had done in some places. So the question here is that I'm not saying follow China. The China's success comes fundamentally from growing the domestic market, to going ahead and making the product affordable. And third is that government helped them. So here we are talking to the government. Say, for example, air conditioning, whether it should be a 18% GST at least, so that the domestic market grows. That agenda is already on. We will keep putting pressure on the government. So manufacture the products competitively means you have to build scale. For building scale, you need the domestic market to be a larger one. Two is our own effort in order to drive down the cost. Now, this again, I keep telling in many forums, the mathematical tables. So when you are in second standard, the 8 table is very difficult. 2 8s are 1 8 is 8, 2 8s are 16, 3 8s are 24 is very difficult. When you come to fourth standard, that table is not. Perhaps in sixth standard, some trigonometry may be a difficult subject. But then when you go to the 10th standard, that is not. Something else is a differentiation, integration, may be a difficult subject. So when you move to a next orbit, the other one becomes very simpler. So therefore, my view is that we will struggle to manufacture, let's say Blue Star at 500,000 unit. It is so much of complexities to manufacture a seasonally skewed product. Energy label is changing. So many SKUs are required, so on and so forth. But if we have to cut down the cycle time, we need to migrate to a different level. That is what a 2 million manufacturer will do. If we learn today, then it is easier to do 1 billion. So I don't know I'm communicating rightly. The problems that we face today, or what we are seeing as a struggle, are for a particular scale. We have to prepare ourselves for a much larger scale. It is like 16 table when you know the 2 table or 3 table is not a difficult thing at all. So how quickly you will impart this learning to yourself and your team members is something that is very important. Now, the fundamental requirements in this context are you may have to reinvent your companies or reimagine your companies. First one is whether we have got a vision and a goal. Probably you have to set a very, very aspirational goal. It is it should be if you are doing 50 crore turnover, and if your goal in 3 years is to reach 75 crore and set a goal of 250 crores. There is a fine difference between being greedy and aspirational, but I'm telling you it is possible. This industry is poised for growth. So how you will set at least that I'm going to grow every year at 25%. It is going to be an environment like that. That is how it will evolve in my view. The second is when the country as a whole in that industry, it doesn't have scale, it is not competitive, it is fighting year to year. Like there is a GST issue, there is something to do with the regulations like energy label, e-waste, and it is highly seasonal. Now, often within Blue Star, I keep telling the people that this becomes like some Satyajit Ray movie. There is a teacher who is, looking after a family of 4, and his salary day, it will be stolen in the bus, that salary itself. The wife will have a serious medical problem, and the son will not be able to reach the exam. Most Satyajit Ray movies will be full of this horrific realities. This industry, if you look at it, as I reflect over the past 25 years, it often had the hiccups, and I think that hiccups have made us very strong. I don't think any other industry would have bounced back like ours. That in Q3 itself, we saw a 17% growth. And most importantly, I measure that success by looking at people full of enthusiasm, like the RATA members itself. You have not lost the spirit to fight. And that strength comes to us by going through those pains like this Satyajit Ray movie. So in this context, this industry, if it has to emerge stronger, there are a few things. I said you go ahead and set very ambitious goals. 2, you need to innovate. and you have to figure out very quickly that how others have done it, including China, and in quite a few cases, Korea and Taiwan, and how we can emulate that in order to cut short our innovation cycle itself. The next one is the sustainability issues are going to kill us. That in terms of refrigerant related issues, whether it is ozone depletion or global warming, and energy efficiency, India Cooling Action Plan, e-waste. In this particular area, that how quickly we will comply, and at the same time build competitiveness. So in that context, I would urge you to go ahead and look at learning the TCM principles. TCM is not cost cutting. So you need to figure out the the world is going to be on affordable. World is going to be on the platform of sustainable, and it is going to be lowest price. You will find the premium as a concept has disappeared, whichever is the category you take it. Like you take, for example, Unilever. I don't think there is a product that is premium out there. They are able to compete. Look at Toyota. It is a great brand. That product, they made it affordable. You take airlines, Lufthansa or British Airways, quite often will be cheaper than even Air India. So the world has moved from that premium. Nobody is going to pay you higher price. So if you have to drive down the cost for the value, the TCM as a concept where based on the cost levers as well as the value levers, how you can do the laddering in order to figure out what is the price at which you will be able to sell, and therefore at the cost at which you will be able to manufacture, whether it is a product or service. Now, there are TCM consultants available. There are TCM framework that is available. There is a MSME related TCM framework. It will be worthwhile for you to do that, especially in a situation where the commodity prices are fluctuating, the exchange rates are fluctuating, and transportation charges are fluctuating. So without mastering this cost management as in a structured way, I am not talking about cutting the corners, how well you will do it, and it is a science by itself like TQM. I would urge you to do that. While you are learning, I have a feeling unlearning also is very important, that many principles that we believed in the past may not be. Say, for example, uh, there is a leaflet manual that is important, and you may have to migrate to the digital ways of doing things, because digital enterprises will have the cost advantage as well. So the innovations take place through digital as well. So that brings me to the subject of one of the contentious issues in the industry with regard to the advent of e-commerce. Now, e-commerce is a reality. The brands themselves also will sell and will have higher walk-ins for direct purchase. Now, in that context, what happens to the dealers, distributors, and whether they will perish? I don't think so. They will coexist. Now, e-commerce is offering a value proposition. While it is called that it delivers value, the price war is set in by e-commerce in quite a few categories. And people believe that e-commerce is cheap, and I don't think that the majority of the people go there because of convenience. It is basically because they believe they get it at a cheaper price, and year after year that is going to happen. Now, whether in that context, in order to protect your interest, you should also be delivering the values that e-commerce is delivering. Say, for example, e-stores, how fast you will be able to deliver, how that customer experience can be multiplied and delivered by you, and most importantly, the relationship that you can build and deliver. And in Indian context, that relationship, touch and feel, is not going to go away. Now, equally, the fact is that they are going to be there is going to be war out there. That there are power retailers, there are modern traders, and e-commerce who will be spending a lot of money building equity, and which means in what manner you are going to build your brand, whichever be your manufacturer, service provider, or a dealer. And your investment in brand building is important, which you should, the parent companies which you represent should help you to build. It is equally important for you to have an equity, which means again, in a print television medium, I don't think you will be able to build it. You will to some extent, but digital marketing from your side will be very important. So this is one subject which you have to keep in mind. So I mentioned about innovation, innovation in terms of how to quickly get the product design, how I will emulate the developed countries so that the learning curve is cut short. The second part of it is the total cost management, and therefore you are able to compete because affordable products, affordable services only will be able to succeed in future. The third one is how about sustainability, but I do not think that you should waste too much of a time, but at least what the parent companies or your customers expect you to do. Say, for example, circular economy as a subject, how much I can recycle. So like for example, that while we had stopped this reconditioning of the compressors, that how much we can get out of the compressors, because the circular economy is all about not wasting things. Even the packaging material, how we can look at the recycling of that, how I will avoid certain things, like whether a manual can go to a QR code, whether a warranty can be digital, and how much of paper I will reduce, and how much I can reduce the installation time. And in that way, how you will contribute is good enough, rather than getting into some bigger sustainability issues. I'm not suggesting, as a policy, you should say, I will do work only for a green building, platinum rated. It is not, because the customers may build any kind of building. But within your domain, how you can figure out a way where you are being an advocate of sustainability, at the same time, it is helping you to reduce waste or recycle and convert into money. So circular economy as a subject, the people interested can get in touch with me. I can guide you on that particular subject, or put you on to experts where you will benefit. And you have to look at sustainability as a subject where you are not losing money, that also is contributing to you. The last one I mentioned is the branding. So the branding and marketing are going to be challenging ones for you. Now, I will specifically come to the issue of what specific opportunities you will have. Before that, I wanted to place a few thoughts in as I look at an association like yours. Whether you have, if you have a goal that is ambitious, see, instead of 250 crore, I am attempting 500 crores. I want to become 1,000 crore company. I want to be, you should look at the exports. That if you are manufacturing something, this is the time to look at how you can network with people, and then go ahead and figure out smaller opportunities. There are many small vendors who are beginning to export, whether it is motors or heat exchangers. That market is opening up for India. So when your ambition is high, it is equally important you have got a risk management framework. What kind of risk you take, and what kind of risk protection that you should have. And that, again, don't rely on your chartered accountants or lawyers alone. I can put you on to some people, or you should request the parent companies to help you, that what is the risk that you should take, financial risk or the strategic risk, and how you should manage. It is better for you to learn that subject. You are all intelligent enough, you will be able to replicate what the big companies do. The second one is the compliance factor. As the economy grows, as the country advances, the compliance requirements will be high. I think the ESI, PF, and the labor related regulations, because the labor force in a growing economy where the manufacturing is driving the growth in an exponential manner, they are going to have their own rights to be demanding, while the legal framework will ease and will be made friendly. From our side, how we will make sure we comply fully with the laws, because you are putting an enterprise at risk by not complying with and following the regulations as demanded by the authorities. The next one is with regard to the succession planning. Many small enterprises, MSMEs or the traders, one of the issues is the succession. So whether you are grooming from within the family or grooming somebody whom you have hired, and pay attention to that subject. This is equally important for the fact that most of you whom I have come across, you do not have a personal life at all. I'm exaggerating. You are not able to enjoy your vacation. You pack your day from morning to evening, and you skip your lunch, and you are all the time on phone calls, and it is not a life worth living like that. You need to figure out that how you are able to look after your health, find time for your exercise and other stuff, and at the same time manage the stress that one phone call from a customer can take away your half a day, or some calls from the principals can take away, or some payment delays from the companies can create stress for you. So therefore, and many of you drive very long distances to visit a site or meet a customer. So how you will figure out this unless and until you are having some kind of a succession and an organization that is strong below you. And and I do not think I'm complaining here that many of you know how to even delegate. So quite a few of the work you yourself end up doing. Now I will move on to talk about specific things. Like for example, I mentioned, take CCT as an example, since we are running out of time. I mentioned six manufacturers, huge manufacturing capacity. So for the first time, other than the NCR, the National Capital Region, Sri City, Chennai, that is going to be the air conditioning hub. And today it is starting with room air conditioners, it will be commercial refrigeration, and it will be having central air conditioning related products. No ecosystem exists there. In the sense it can meet, but for the future need, there is no ecosystem. Many people will have to set up the industry there. The dialogue will begin, like Blue Star will be beginning the dialogue with various vendors that how they can go ahead and set up facilities there, whether it is motors, sheet metal, so on and so forth, whatever is required. So therefore, you need to be having this particular focus, that how you can. Earlier it was, the problem that I find here is the purchase managers, they deal with some people and they traditionally hold on to them. Yeah, for a new one to enter, it is a big thing. That's what I've learned in CI buyer seller meets. To get into a company for the first time, it takes hell a lot of efforts actually. So because a purchase manager will not want to switch over to another vendor at all. He has to qualify, he will have his own doubts, and you have to handhold. So why to bring another vendor? So this particular process is getting refined in many companies. So you need to be figuring out that you have to believe you will be able to enter any company. It is not, this company will not buy from you. I don't think professional organizations have that mindset at all. You need to be only meeting the quality requirements, the SLAs that are set, including the price. Why you should not be? You will be welcome. And this is the stage to say, hello, Blue Star, this particular component, what you will buy from me, I am ready to set it up there. I will deliver it to you. And so the buyer seller meets within CII we are driving. It's not only for air conditioning industry, whether it is automobile, electronics, there it will be a supply chain partnership meets actually. So what supply chain in need and what are my quantity production projections for the next 5 years, how you can go ahead and set up this particular facility. The last one I wanted to talk about is the commercial refrigeration. So far, the cold chain was driven basically by ice cream. That was the single largest segment. And I think the agri as well as fisheries related one should be beginning soon. And the food processing should also be opening up because there is an PLI scheme that is applicable for food processing industries as well. So here it is the future for that industry is very bright. I won't count FY22, but if you take from FY23, it should grow at least 30%. The food processing, food delivery, healthcare, pharma, fisheries, all put together should be driving the growth, which means system integrators in terms of people who will be dealers for cold rooms and who will install and commission and who will even operate. So you have to imagine that situation. It is worthwhile for you to make an entry. So far we had a number of us. We neglect, it's not a big enough market. So whatever you had set aside as it is not big enough market, it may be the time for you to go ahead and see how you can go ahead and re-enter that so that you are ready when it opens up. I conclude by saying that I remember three things actually. One is Michelangelo, which I quote in quite a few of my, if I am speaking at 5 forums, 3 forums I would have stated this. It is, Lord, grant that I may always desire more than I can accomplish. So it is not greediness. You should set very high goals, and that's what you should aspire for. The success formula, according to me, is you have to learn now. You have to learn faster. You have to unlearn whatever we have to, because we said this won't work here, this won't work here. Those things you may want to unlearn. And it is worthwhile to emulate. It is not copying. Seeing what worked for someone else, some other country, it is worthwhile to do. How you will surround yourself with competent people, and I would advise you should also surround yourself with youth to the extent possible, and demanding leaders you should be from your people. At the same time, compassionate to look after your team and build a succession planning, to have the succession planning in place, and to look after your health, find some time to rest, and most importantly to enjoy what you do. I am sure you are enjoying what you do, but I know in this industry it is not possible. That I'm telling from my own experience. It's an industry where um, as competitors itself, that is, we all deserve much more than what we are earning. This product is not a simple one. It is a 24/7 air conditioner works, and it is a high-tech product. And we train so many people from school dropouts, and it is easy to teach him electrical. It is easy to teach him plumbing. It is easy to teach driving. So all these fellows, a driver, plumber, electrician, will get paid more than a HVAC technician. And look at a security guard; he will get paid more than the technician of HVACnR. Now he has to know electrical. He has to know carpentry in quite a few places. He has to know what is the quantity of the gas and the microprocessor and quite a few places. If it is a chiller commissioning or something to do with the digital electronics, with all that he doesn't get paid. And therefore, this industry also doesn't make the profit which many other industries make. So I know the stress that you undergo, and which means, apart from changing everything, which I think will happen, you need also rest and look after your health and personal life. I close by again, almost all my speeches will end with this, the quote of Mahatma Gandhi: live as if you were to die tomorrow, which means live to your fullness. Learn as if you were to live forever. That means you should continue to learn. That is the only way you will succeed in life. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I've taken more time.
No, that was amazing, Mr. Thiagarajan. I think everything that you said, everyone from our trade literally connected with. And I must say that most of us did not expect that you will really touch the personal side of us. We really were all prepared from a business perspective and not from the personal front. But, I'm going to now take you through a barrage of questions which has come from a lot of our members. So for the first question on everyone's mind is, we have a lot of Blue Star dealers also, Blue Star partners also as our members. One is, you said the GDP is going to grow, the business is going to be pretty big. What is the strategy Blue Star has got for this season? I mean, have you built on a specific strategy for this season for Blue Star?
So first of all, to Blue Star, our stakeholders, I would like to apologize for having put them through some difficult times. They were dependent on us. We didn't grow in the process. They wouldn't have grown. Apologies. Two, in quite a few cases, we would not have paid on time, especially in April, May. I apologize for that. And so as far as Blue Star is concerned, number one, we also learned like you, the highly seasonal business. It can derail the company. In our case, it is a listed company, so the markets closely watches. One of our problems had been not able to compete in terms of price. So if we have to grow our market share, we have learned that we should go ahead and look at our design, redesign the products, and the ability to compete. I don't think we will be a L1 player, but our attempt is to bring down the cost by at least 10%. So if, for example, in room air conditioners, out of our around 90 SKUs, 32 SKUs are made with a entry level pricing of around 10%. So Blue Star is no longer going to position itself as I'm content with some premium positioning. The second one is that we know we should become relevant to much larger audience, even in the tier 3, 4, 5 markets. Therefore, our marketing spends are going to almost double in the room air conditioner space. That is why we engaged Virat Kohli. So last year we couldn't leverage that because of the pandemic, but you will see a lot of activities that are going over the next 3 years. We are going to double our advertising expenses. And three, in the B2B products like the VRF or the chillers or the deep freezers, again, there is a structured TCM program in the way we will make our products differentiated and it will be competitive. Overall, this is the direction.
Great. So in the unitary segment, most of our customers are also now asking, with the prices rising, do you see actually the prices going up? Because you are innovating and saying that I will bring it down by 10% and you're doing TCM methods. But what should the consumer expect or the trade expect? Will the unitary products prices go up?
See, there are multiple things are happening there. One is that you have to index and see if it is 100, whether the cost has been bring down to 90, but the inflation is going to be there because steel, copper, ABS plastic, the ocean freight, local transportation, all are at its high now. And I do not think it is going to come down till July. It may come down. Again, July, I'm not confirming. But the April, May season, it is going to be high. Therefore, the price increase is a reality. What is going to happen? I think people are consuming air conditioners in a big way because they are not going on vacation. They are staying home. They are not going out and spending on eating or watching movies. So the homes are becoming comfortable. So one should anticipate 30% growth at least in the summer season. When the price hike has taken place, what is going to happen is they are not going to buy 5-star or products with many other features incorporated. They are going to buy the entry level product. So one should look at entry level lower products. That is what I think will sell more. Growth will hold.
You were very humble enough to be very upfront to tell your dealer network that, listen, it was a tough time even for you. Are you working on a specific plan for your dealer network, for your partners across the country to bounce back post the pandemic?
So for a dealer, we have to make his job easier. He should be able to sell. So therefore, I should not persist with some high-priced products. So we are equipping with competitive products. 2 is advertising. How much more walk-ins he will get. The third is with regard to the in-shop demonstrators. Fourth is with regard to the consumer finance scheme. On all fronts we are. See, it is very clear. No brand will succeed without his dealer succeeding.
That's true.
And we are again, that is in e-commerce, if a particular product is available at a particular price, we want to make it available to the regular dealers as well. That is, he should not lose because of e-commerce.
In your opening remarks, you already said that e-commerce is here to stay. What is your personal thought? Typically the e-commerce is competing with smaller businesses, what called as brick and mortar or mom and pop shops. Do you really see a future for these mom and shops and brick and mortar shops?
It will coexist. They are never. It is like the example is as follows: that the MTNL versus the other telecom. MTNL continues to be there. It is the most reliable Wi-Fi network, I think, or mobile network is MTNL's. And take the newspapers. There are theories that the newspaper, 4 years ago people wrote, nobody will read the newspaper. It is still there. I don't think these things will go away at all. Even in the US, the e-commerce percentage is not, it has become 100% or so. But you should, brick and mortar establishment should adopt digital practices. There is no escape from that. Like, for example, whether you will be able to provide virtual showroom to your customers, whether you will build that relationship and a community. Like there is a Amazon registered users, that is his community. So what are your registered users who are your community, and the trust factor you bring in there. And the next one is that it is delivered and installed at the fastest time. You should be able to focus attention there. And I don't think e-commerce will wipe out the conventional stores at all. But Amazon promotes itself with huge budgets for building its own equity. So the company should help you to build your brand as well. So if there is a Blue Star brand building, Blue Star dealers should also be looking, help to build their own equity so that their customer base grows.
So when you're competing like a small MSME or a dealership business, do you see that the amount of technology that small businesses have to adopt is going to be humongous compared to what it was at least a year ago? Without that, they say today without technology is pretty much difficult to run the business. Do you think that's going to happen?
It is. Look at your own association. You are saying you have grown during this pandemic period digitally. This association itself. And you are able to hold a conference or a meeting as efficiently as what Google or Microsoft or a international entity will hold. You are professionally conducting it. So you have adapted. The problem, I think, is my honest view is this: that I say this even in digital forums. The sellers of digital solutions, they make it highly complicated. So he oversells that particular product. And the second one is it will be outdated in 1.5 years' time. I'm telling you, Zoom or this kind of a platforms will be outdated in 1.5 years' time. And they make it so very expensive. So the question is that it is a few American companies understood that, like for example YouTube or Windows, or take Zoom itself, though it is a Chinese company. They made it affordable. They made it simple. And Zoom in a tier 4-5 town, people are using now. And the secret is that how I make it simple. So the digital solutions provider should help you. And
Amazing.
it is, some people are lucky to get hold of somebody. That look, I have seen many of our dealers have got superior customer service solutions than what we are breaking our head with a very expensive service management software.
Amazing. That's too
This
good.
is important. It has to be simple. It should serve the purpose of the customer. And you cannot escape from digital, because digital is the one which is going to help you to manage the scale with limited resources.
Awesome. I'm actually going to get Kalyan here. Kalyan, you've seen you've already gone through the digital phase, and over to you. Nobody better to ask you about commercial air conditioning. So let's take up the questions on the commercial HVAC.
Yeah. Sir, thank you very much. I'm really moved and humbled by your kind words. How those days were, and we spent time in Cochin. You recalled, and I start remembering those days in the movie theaters, and also in some mess. The higher mess we used to eat, and we used to sit in front of the sea coast and discuss astronomy and other things and all. It was those days really. I keep recalling those days. The kind of discussions we had. Really, it reminded me a lot. I think I should come and meet you one day and sit in a sea coast and discuss the same way. I look forward to that. Okay, coming to the subject. See which are all the sectors you see the growth will be there in commercial air conditioning. So that is something which there'll be a change of things now with the new days. So what are the changes which we envisage in commercial air conditioning?
Surely, the first one will be the manufacturing. So what solutions you can offer to manufacturing? So, for example, enterprises like Sea Comforts should be looking at. You will also be doing electrical plumbing for the manufacturing, because these are going to be fast track projects. Everybody is going to be in a hurry. Huge investments will be taking place across the country. So, therefore, manufacturing is the first sector to look at. It is not offices. I don't think offices, hotels are going to be in the next 2-3 years invest adequately at all. The second one will be the healthcare, pharma. These will be very important sectors to look at. The third one is in infrastructure, in whatever manner it is. There will be a lot of infrastructure that will be built in terms of the airports or the metro railway or the roads. Connected with that, the social infrastructure that will emerge. The food delivery will be another sector to look at. Now, whether few things will disappear forever, no. In fact, it will be good for air conditioning. Like, for example, whichever offices are newly being occupied, like let us say, for example, a research and development center, it will provide for more spaces, because they will not design thinking that the virus has gone away. The virus can come back again, Therefore, what kind of layout that I will adopt? I am suspecting the schools that are built will be also modular, in which case, if they have to remove a partition and combine two classrooms, they will be able to manage with social distancing. In a school itself, the auditorium will be double the size. You will find the sports stadiums constructed in a bigger size so that they will be able to cope with it in case there are going to be. So the first one is manufacturing, and followed by the infrastructure, the food healthcare, food delivery, and these are the segments to look at.
Okay, with the projects taking hit during the COVID, what would be the advice for contracting companies like us doing chillers, VRF, in terms of pricing and precautions?
See, we should be ashamed of the fact that in the country the payments are irregular. Look, I have friends in Europe, US. Nobody spends time in their companies they in chasing payment. It is a India phenomenon. I'm telling you that most of us running around chasing the payment. This has to stop. And we all should be telling the customers, look, I am ready to give you discount. I am ready to do any kind of service 24/7. But the moment you make me chase the payment, I am stopping the work. So this is causing a cycle. That is, Blue Star will be chasing. So in turn, a Blue Star manager will not be settling somebody else. And like this it is, because the whole industry is suffering due to this. So my advice is, in contracting, if somebody is not giving the payment, we should stop the work. If somebody is not asking you to do the extra work, he has to give the amendment in writing. 90% of the time, you're all spending chasing some amendment. So my ambition within Blue Star, we have got a mission how to streamline this payment process. Because we are also in the process, because some of our customers didn't settle the payment, our vendors, subcontractors are waiting, or dealers are waiting. And this is a useless exercise for a country which is trying to grow the GDP. The whole payment, government is the first defaulter. Some 5 lakh, 6 lakh crore they are yet to settle. So we should be voicing this again and again, that it is a sickening thing. For no other country people chase payment at all. Same government of India will pay for anything they import upfront. This culture has to stop. And so this is the first one. The second one is, I am finding real estate sector highly stressed. So you may be better off offering a good discount and ensuring a LC payment. And definitely the amendments, if amendments are not in writing, no one should be doing any job in the site at all.
Correct. Sir, why does this price increase happen? How do MSMEs protect themselves against the sudden price increases? Because you see, copper has gone up from somewhere around 500 to 800 now, and we don't know what price it is going to come, especially when the project prices are frozen. And how does Blue Star handle this issue? Like, the project, when you go for an amendment, they say, because of price increase, we won't give you a price increase. And so how do we handle this sudden price increase?
So yeah, it's not Blue Star has got some super duper solution. The question is, the price rise, what happened now is unprecedented. So if you trace back, in the past 10 years, such a steep price hike would not have taken place at all. The number one is that we should, as an industry, it is not you won't be able to do it. What is alternate materials that we should be developing? Okay, it is this industry, it is like putting sand on one's own head. Aluminum microchannel is a wonderful solution. In automobile, it has succeeded. We were the ones to be saying that the copper only model and don't buy aluminum like that. Fine, aluminum you can offer extra warranty. We only killed it in our own competitive spirit. Yeah, now with the government of India, we are discussing that when automobile can work, why air conditioners won't work? And you can compensate it by giving extended warranty. Now, definite effort should go in A, finding out alternate materials, B, how to reduce the material content itself. See, if you compare like to like, a product that is manufactured by world's #1 air conditioning manufacturer, which is Grief, perhaps, the weight to weight, there's a difference, right? The design optimization, they have achieved that. So lesser you consume, your escalation, you will be able to. Now, believe me that this will continue to happen. It won't be steep, but there is a huge speculative market in copper, steel, aluminum, ABS plastic. Now, combined with, see, right now what they are saying is that their input costs have gone up. It is to do with the whether it is coal or any other input that is meant for steel manufacturing. So that is the reason suddenly every economy seems to be growing, because there is a lot of liquidity in the market. So I think we should be looking at innovation in terms of alternate material, reducing the material content. This particular one, there is no other go. If you have accepted a contract without price escalation, you need to absorb it. There is what is the other way? Now, I think the more we take a stand, we are competing and reducing the price, because the customer is exploiting that. That is the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
See, the hope should be that this is one pain which you would have undergone by, hopefully by June, July, it disappears.
So yeah, we expect some price to ease in the coming days after the summer is over or something.
June, July, it should, because the more production capacities are coming up.
Okay.
The
Sir,
input costs come down.
Yeah, now I will move on to the refrigeration side, sir. I
Yeah.
have a few questions in the refrigeration side. Which are all the areas you think a dealer should focus for refrigeration, especially in cold chain and kitchen equipments? Like, you already mentioned in your speech that the pharma sector and the food processing sector and all are going to grow. So, as a dealer, which are all the sectors, refrigeration dealers, which are all the sectors they should focus, and where should they go?
See, ice cream will continue to grow. So there is no doubt about it at all. The processed food, ready to cook, ready to fry, there is quite a bit of expansion that is taking place in the capacity. We will start publishing, like the arising out of PLI, who is going to manufacture what. Say for example, chocolate itself, the capacity will go up, which means there are quite a bit of opportunities in the chocolate cooling area. And there will be fisheries, I mentioned. Aquaculture will grow, sericulture will grow, and the export hubs will be coming up. So for the food, the food processing parks, where mega food processing parks were a failure, but it'll come up in a different form. Now, ripening chambers was not the one in which the dealers were so much focusing. I think the ripening will begin to grow. So the trick there is how to shift the work that is happening in the site to the factory. See, the moment it takes a contracting route, you are bound to lose. Company is bound to lose. There will be delays, etc. So the future has to be constructed in the factory, taken to site and installed, so that it is a equipment sale and a commissioning rather than doing a job at the site. So our focus will be like that, at least from Blue Star side. We do not want to get into some warangal, some ripening chamber to be installed. You take it as a turnkey contract, the dealer will be struggling, traveling there and trying to put together a system and collect the payment. How quickly it can be installed and the payment can be collected. That's how we should view it.
So you mean to say there should be more ready-made solutions rather than doing many things at sites?
Even in buildings now, PCB is becoming a very pre-built is a very, very affordable solution that is coming up. So it should be pre-built. That is one way you will be able to. Then you can take a position that it is a payment against LC or whatever it is.
Yeah.
See, in India, with the legal system that we have got, it is going to be very difficult to chase these payments. Now, the reform that we had was check bouncing as an offense. And now in this digital world, that part of the system is not, contracting. And the real deterrent is people not paying on time.
Correct. Sir, I'll move on with some questions on manufacturing, sir. How do you see this Atmanirbhar campaign by the government? Do you see more HVAC products and components manufactured in India? Is it going to be so serious?
100%. So we in negotiating with the government, we have placed on record that the MSME's interest how it should be, the threshold investment or the base year. So therefore, the components are divided into significant ones and the smaller ones. So you should go ahead and any of the members should discuss. So with the Blue Star also, we will open up the discussions for our CCT, what can be done locally, what can be delivered. So the government is aware of the price disability factor between an import and this. But in any case, under a phased manufacturing program, the import duties will keep going up. So therefore, together, how that ecosystem can be created. And if someone is in Maharashtra, the scheme itself, MIDC scheme itself helps them. Because whatever they sell it to their principals, they will get the GST as a refund fully. So let's say I have a factory in Vada. If somebody closer is going to manufacture tanks for my water coolers, the GST on that, he will charge it to me. I will take a set off, that is fine. But whatever is the local sales, amount equivalent to the GST will be reimbursed to him as a benefit. Okay. Under the MIDC scheme.
Okay.
So therefore, there is a huge benefit that is arising out of these schemes as well.
Okay.
So we need to we will be opening up the discussions. For example, for anything to do with the deep freezers, Blue Star has opened up that in Maharashtra under MIDC scheme, if somebody can manufacture, we will give preference to them.
Okay.
For any component.
Okay.
Including the packaging material.
Okay.
So it should be, you will, first of all, we have to avoid Government of India's notification. For sure, components are going to happen. For sure, it is going to be attractive. And it will be announced by April, May. I think it should come out by April middle, the complete scheme document. The second one is, we know who are all going to invest where. So therefore, your members should begin the dialogue with them.
Okay. Actually, my next question is also like that. MSMEs who wanted to venture into component manufacturing, what are all the components they should look into and immediately, and which OEMs can look for? Like, what are the components and which OEMs they're really looking at?
According to me, everything. Take for example, one was imported components.
Yeah.
So it is in the public domain. Who imported what? You can buy the data. It's for some 500, 600 rupees. Anybody will give you Blue Star imported what all last year or year before. So my advice to all of you is don't compare with the financial year 2020-21. It will not give any kind of a data. Follow 1920. So if you look at Blue Star, what it imported, Daikin, what it imported, or Panasonic, what it imported, Voltas, what it imported, list is available, component-wise and the... So go ahead and explore whether you can make it. The second one is, even if it is an existing component, there is going to be shortage, because Like Blue Star from 6 lakh unit, when it moves to 9 lakh units, my packaging vendor, whether he will be able to deliver, or you are going to be finding shortage on that. There is going to be shortage, right? Because suddenly things are going up. See, you will figure out that we don't have the capacity. Where the first problem is going to be employment. You are not going to get good resources in the market, because it, unlike many other industries, ours is unique. You will need a trained person. The salary levels are going to go up. So when we are setting up a unit in Sri City, the manufacturing professionals itself, there is a shortage. So you will get quickly few. But then take Chennai as a city to absorb this, that is all companies put together, you can calculate the white collar employees, what they will be hiring will be at least 600 people. Quality control, manufacturing engineering, production manager, plant head. Where is this talent? And all companies will need somebody who have manufactured air conditioners or related products, right, or refrigerators. So therefore, it is going. We are going to be on treadmill.
Okay. Sir, one more last question I just wanted to ask. Does Blue Star have a vendor development plan, and how can you help Rata members who would be interested in the same?
So we are beginning. I told you that for the deep freezer plant, which is coming up at Wada, we have begun. You can collate on their behalf and forward it to me. I will introduce you to the person who is doing this exercise. There are two people who are involved in that. One is Srinivas Reddy, who heads the sales and marketing. One HK Katwani, who looks after manufacturing and supply chain. So they are already on the job to identify vendors within Maharashtra for the new deep freezer plant, which is 2.5 lakh numbers capacity. For Sri City, hopefully by April, May, we will begin the process. Again, room air conditioners related, go ahead and compile and send it to me. I will introduce you so that you can introduce all the members.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, Ajit.
Thank you, Mr. Thiagarajan. Actually, we will take it up within. We are very fortunate that you actually shared that information. We will reach out to our members, and everyone who is interested in associating with Blue Star as a supplier, we would be happy to introduce them. Before we wind up, we just have some quick questions that have just come up during the event. We have Mr. Vikas Sekani. He has a very interesting question that he's asked here. He says, why is it that our industry, and I presume he's specifically talking with large companies, don't adopt technologies? He's specifically referring to something called as leak detection technology, which he introduced in 2019. And he gives an example that in the automobile industry, for the past 30 years, they've been using it for 30 lakhs, 50 lakh cars. They've been using leak detection, but in our industry, we've just not adopted it. Any reply to him? Vikas has asked this question.
So it is sad. I share his sentiments. It is the question of the profitability of the industry itself. Look at all automobile manufacturers, EBITDA margin as a whole. Okay, it's all in double digit. Compared with that, look at us. The average EBITDA margin will be less than 5%. All people put together. We are not demanding the price that we are supposed to get for the value that we deliver. It is same with the air conditioning, refrigeration professionals also. They get paid lower than others. So in the process, what happens? You are going ahead and cutting corners. So people want to invest in even the prefabricated ducting. We took a long time to adopt pre-insulated piping. It is not taking off at all. Like I will tell you, we had a very pathetic experience. We invested a lot of money in developing the virus deactivation related filters, and nobody is buying. So the question is that you don't get the value in the process. Now what will happen? Anything to do with that kind of a development, nobody will be interested. So we are, as an industry, we are following certain rudimentary practices. So you can figure out from an air conditioner the way it is getting installed. But at the same time, I would say I am seeing significant difference 5 years ago to now. It has progressed well. There is no doubt about it. It will happen, but the next 5 years will be a very defining moment. Things will change.
Awesome. So because what Mr. Thiagarajan is saying, that have patience, don't lose hope. It's changing. We are an evolutionary society. We don't see revolutions coming in so much. But yeah, we're progressing slowly and steadily. But Mr. Thiagarajan, it's been a fabulous 90 minutes that you actually spent with us. And you shared some great insights, fabulously. And I don't think many industry leaders have ever come and spoken the personal side of a small business owner. And I'm telling you this because what you said is true. Yeah, they literally, majority of them do not have a personal life. Morning to evening, it's clockwork, and it's great that you have. And the pandemic has actually brought that out. The stress levels, they realize that. So thank you so much for being humane about it. That is fabulous. It's great to have heard from you the optimism. We are definitely looking forward this season to be great. We want to forget the year behind us and want to look ahead. We're keen at the association level to make sure we help a lot of MSMEs in the vendor development. Thank you for actually offering that to us. We will reach out to you for our members. So before we actually wind this, we are just in time, exactly 90 minutes. And I just want you to share with us, what's your message for all those small businesses out there? You know, while you might say that we need to have a vision, but you know how small businesses are. They look at immediate and the next 2 years. That is what we can relate to. It's very difficult for us to relate to 20 years, 30 years. For a company like yours, which is publicly trading, you have to put that vision across. What is your message for small businesses, maybe this season and over the next 2 years? What is it that we should be looking at?
So thank you very much. It was a pleasure interacting with you. Thank you for the opportunity. The thing is, you are very important stakeholders, the members of RATA. With you are the backbone. It is like seeding and watering and waiting for it to bloom. And the years of hard work of this industry, I am hopeful that the next 5 years will be the time you will harvest all the hard work. And my desire is that you all will, in 3 years' time, double your turnover and profits. And the stage is set for that. But it is in our hands. We have to be very, very judicious in doing what we are supposed to do. Like I told you, affordable products and services are important because that is what this country will consume, globe will consume. And we should look at having certain things clear. I won't touch the jobs where the payments are not coming through. You should demand from your principals, even Blue Star, telling that, look, I will give it to you at this price. Please pay me against LC. Pay me within 45 days. And please enforce your MSME rights. The MSMEs are entitled to certain. So some dealers, if they are not registered themselves as MSMEs with the companies, go ahead. In the new definition of the Act, the traders are part of MSMEs. So MSMEs are entitled to the timely payment. And so if you take care of these part of it, I am very, very confident you all will be doubling your revenue, doubling your profits. And so wish you all the best. And as I mentioned, please take time for looking after your health, whether it is through jogging or yoga or whatever it is, and spend more time with families and contemplate. And your personal time is personal time. Let not the companies or customers take it away. All the best to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thiagarajan. What a fabulous 90 minutes that we've had. And I'm sure this is going to be watched again and again by a lot of our members from our industry. Thank you so much for your valuable time. It was truly a pleasure to hear you. And thank you for taking time out for us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It was a great pleasure talking to you such a long time after so many years. And it really, I got a lot of goosebumps when you told so many things. So it's really, it's taken me at least 25 years, 30 years back, and the kind of discussions we used to have. And I personally thank you for accepting and coming to this program, immediately accepting and coming to this program and giving such a great, I won't say it's a lecture, such a great information, what you have passed on to the whole industry. I think this will remind us every time, whenever we feel like, we need some kind of, good words and good things, we need to put this on a YouTube and keep clicking and seeing this again and again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. All the best to you. You're most
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Thank you very much. Thank you.